Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Alaska Airlines Pitch Contest. I'm Andy Klein with Alaska Seaplanes.
And I'm Maggie McMillan. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Juneau Chamber of Commerce. And we are so happy to have you here for the 9th Pitch Contest. Did you guys know that we didn't even skip COVID? Business never stops, and neither did the Pitch Contest. Every year, entrepreneurs from across the state join us here on this stage to pitch their businesses to a panel of experienced judges. This year, we have 6 exciting businesses that will compete for a cash prize and 2 round-trip tickets anywhere Alaska Airlines flies. Previous winners of the pitch contest include Amalga Distillery,
Pretty cool.
Copa, Renewable Energy Alaska Project, Cartorium, Tundra Tectonics, Salty Lady Seafoods, and last year's winner, Sikana.
Who was here for last year's competition? Right? And it was so hard to decide, right? It was incredibly hard to decide. And Sitkana is an incredibly inspirational energy resource that's happening using tidal energy. An incredible thing that, you know, who knows, in just a few years, we may be reaping the benefits for that. That's the kind of thing we're hoping happens here. And of all of the many competitions I've been here for the pitch contest, boy, there's always something really exciting and fun and cool happening, and even if it's not the winning project, you hear about it later. So that's the kind of stuff that happens here. So it's my pleasure tonight to be able to introduce the judges. We're going to dive in a little bit more on the voting process in a minute, but here's a quick overview. Each year, a large portion of the prize is crowdfunded. Crowdfunded. Okay, this is where you, as a crowd, gets involved here, right? Each summit registrant gets 1 free $10 vote, and all that money is used to vote toward the prize pool. But there's more.
Oh, yeah. There is definitely more. So we definitely want you to vote and vote often, and you'll see JDC staff walking around. That's one way to vote. The other way the people win are by our judges. So I'm going to introduce one judge, and then I'm going to let Andy take over because he's much better at emceeing than I am. So our first judge today is Dave McCasland, and you guys probably know him as Deckhand Dave, and you probably eat his fish tacos every summer. And he is here because he is a dynamic entrepreneur and a business owner. He owns Deckhand Dave's, which is a downtown food truck with a unique dining pavilion, showcasing his background in commercial fishing. This path led him to choose the world of entrepreneurship instead of going to be a scientist at NOAA. And I'm sure if you eat his fish tacos, you're glad he made that choice. He currely, recently...
Because he would have been a bad scientist?
I'm sure he would have been a great scientist, but I mean...
Because his tacos are so great.
They're delicious. Yeah, that's what I meant. He recently bought the former Elks Hall building, and he's exploring plans on housing and restaurants, which is awesome for the downtown corridor.
He bought it, and then he tore it down. Man, that building had to go. All right, so next.
New things, Andy.
New things.
Innovation.
No, it's awesome, man. It's like developing downtown. It's going to be great. Luke Kirkham is also here. Luke's from the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation. Born and raised in Juneau, Alaska, once he graduated high school, he joined the Marine Corps before double majoring in French and marketing. And after his undergraduate studies, he attended Colorado State University to complete his MBA in corporate sustainability. Luke then returned to Juneau and now works as an investment operations analyst for the Alaska Permanent Fund Corporation. So thank you, Luke. We should say thank you to Dave as well, Deckhand Dave and Luke. Lauren McVeigh is also here. Lauren is the CEO of True North Credit Union. Lauren McVeigh has lived in Juneau since 1995, has been president and CEO of True North Federal Credit Union since 2004, received her bachelor's degree from University of Michigan, Juris Doctorate from University of Pittsburgh, and in addition to her work at True North, Ms. McVeigh currently serves on the board of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines as member director for Alaska, is chair of the Credit Union National Association's Housing Subcommittee, serves as a member of the board of Alaska Credit Union League and the Financial Realty Foundation. I read that as Reality Foundation. It is reality? Yeah. It's not real. It has nothing to do with real estate. It's reality. It's like, okay, I like that better. Is there a fantasy board as well, or is just the reality board? No, just the reality board. Okay, and is also an active member of Glacier Valley Rotary. Ms. McVeigh served on the board of the Juneau Economic Development Council from 2012 to 2018. I'm gonna keep running through these. We have a couple of more judges to introduce. Liam Zolt is the Director of Innovation and Technology for ASRC Energy Services, where he leads product development in the Arctic energy and environmental remediation industries. He's a chemical engineer, project manager by training. His career in Alaska's energy industry is focused on innovation, product development, and technology commercialization. Liam's work has been published multiple times and is a named inventor on patented and patent-pending technologies in multiple fields. He's also an active member of Alaska's startup ecosystem as an angel investor, co-fund manager of the Alaska Angel Conference, and president of the Alaska Investor Network. Jake Carpenter, another judge, nearly 2 decades of experience as both an entrepreneur and investor. Jake Carpenter, no stranger to the business world. After founding his first company in 2004 and several more along the way, he now works at Resource Data. Away from work, you'll find him traveling with family or enjoying all that Southeast Alaska has to offer. And finally, Christy D. Smith, UAS Chair of the Department of Business and Public Administration, is an assistant professor of management and chair of the Department of Business Administration at the University of Alaska Southeast. She holds 3 degrees in business. Boy, that's 2 more than I hold. A Doctor of Management and Organizational Leadership, a Master of Business Administration and Project Management, and a Bachelor of Business Administration in Management, and is a certified senior professional in human resources. Her desire to make a difference in people's lives led her to a career in higher education, and she believes she's making a difference every day, providing students a product that cannot be taken away. She's a lifelong learner, reader, and teacher, and she's continuing to learn from her discipline and her students. Christy also consults with a variety of entities on strategic management, human resources, project management, and leadership. There, I did it, Maggie.
You did so good. That's why we have Andy. He's the best co-MC I could ask for.
We do want to really thank the judges. Amazing, incredible credentials of these judges, so they really know what they're looking for in innovation and in business development as these folks are going to pitch their projects.
They're definitely very qualified to judge them on the following criteria. So this is what, I want to keep this in mind when they're up here. So problem, does it solve a real problem, and does it do so in a unique way? Product and market fit, do they demonstrate reasonable evidence of a product market fit? Benefits, is the solution better, faster, and cheaper than its competition? Team, do they have a complete team? Competition, do they demonstrate a clear understanding of their competition? Path to market, does this business demonstrate a path to get their product and service to the market? Learnings, do they demonstrate learnings and the willingness to pivot? Presentation and Q&A, is the overall quality of this presentation high? And how well do they respond to their questions?
Okay, and now how do you get involved? Well, you should have all received 1 complimentary vote with your registration materials, and we strongly encourage you to purchase additional votes.
It's only $10.
It's only $10.
And it goes to the winner.
And this is where, corruption in voting is just cool. It's fine, no problem. We strongly encourage you to purchase additional votes if you have not done so already. Votes are $10 each, and you can purchase as many as you like. All the funds will go towards the cash pot for the People's Choice winner, which is what's really cool about that. So you can pay with cash, credit card, local frequency app, which we've heard about so much. The JEDC staff will be coming around to collect and help purchase the votes. They're walking around. You can flag one down if you want to purchase more votes. So the voting for all this closes at 7:45, and winners will be announced at 8 p.m. We're going to try to keep on that schedule as rigidly as we possibly can. And a reminder that JEDC staff are here to help if you need any assistance in any figuring out how to vote, where to vote, how to purchase more votes.
And as a reminder, we don't have 1 winner tonight. We have 2, right? So the judges will
Well, everyone's a winner.
Okay. But
Actually, there are losers here tonight.
there are actually going to be just 2 winners. So the first winner is the Judge's Choice winner, and then the second is the People's Choice. So remember, we just heard the judges' criteria. People's Choice, remember, that's you. That's using your free vote and purchasing more votes. And remember, all the money goes to the winner. It's not going back to any organization. It's going straight to the winner. So vote often.
And then each winner will also receive a round-trip Alaskan Airlines ticket. And we want to thank Alaska Airlines for sponsoring this. Casey Hostetler, who is supposed to be here tonight. I'm here instead of Casey. I know it's
You're
a
doing
disappointment.
so good.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm not Casey, but I'm doing all right. And as an Alaska Seaplanes employee and spokesman, we really so much appreciate our partnership with Alaska Airlines. And a crowd-funded cash prize is based on votes cast, so make sure to purchase those votes. So additionally, the Juneau Chamber of Commerce, right here, represented by Maggie, sponsored a cash prize, so thank you to the Juneau Chamber of Commerce.
It wasn't us. It was our awesome members. So let me thank Heckler's Green Creek, Valley Paint Center, Core Alaska, True North Federal Credit Union, AL&P, and UAS for cash donations for that prize. We raised $2,000.
All right, are we done with the ground rules? Are we ready to get started? Are we ready to get started with the pitch contest? Because I am.
Andy got excited, but I have to be the boring one and say the rules real quick.
But first, the rules.
We actually have rules. We do have rules. So I'm going to tell you who is pitching really quick. Today we have SuprSketch, Hey Bear, Prismatext, Muskeg, Munchkins, Baby Boutique, Wild Coast, Excursions, and AirVitalize. Each of these entrepreneurs is going to get 6 minutes to pitch, and then after that, you'll have 4 minutes to answer questions. So just so you know, contestants, once me and Andy come back up here, it means you have 30 seconds, and at 6 minutes, we will be cutting you off.
So when we sidle back up on the stage awkwardly, you'll know, oh, okay,
Hurry
30
up.
seconds left. All right, that's our signal. We don't play music, we don't have an orchestra, so that's all we can do.
You get awkward Andy or me. Just kidding.
Maggie's never awkward, but I can really be awkward. Okay, so is the first contestant ready? Does the first contestant know who they are? They are SuprSketch, which is Aaron Cox is going to come up and present the first. So come on, first up, big round of applause here for SuprSketch and Aaron Cox.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Aaron Cox. I am the CEO of SuprSketch, and we are an art tech company powering the future of art. Our first piece of technology is a personal art installation for everyone. Why did we create this? Oh, there we go. The term starving artist is based on reality. 85% of artists do not make a livable wage from their art sales. It's actually kind of horrible. Artists do not make any money during the time period that they're creating. So that's a lot of downtime. Sometimes they're creating a piece of art for a month, and they're not earning money during that month. And that's what we are here to solve. So we created SuprSketch. It's a live streaming platform built for digital artists and their large followings. It's where viewers subscribe to a perfect quality live stream of an artist's drawing pad. And we help artists monetize their creative downtime. So I want you guys to imagine for me an artist named Key. He made my pants, actually. He's a brilliant artist. And he's drawing on his drawing pad. He has over 200,000 followers. And he's drawing, and because he's drawing, and because he has subscribers, they are actually creating revenue he's actually creating revenue while he's creating their next 2-month masterpiece, or his next 2-month masterpiece. And in return, viewers get an always living art installation over their dining room or office. So actually, let's look at the platform. It's really simple. You sign in, you find your favorite artist, you subscribe to them with a credit card, and then you have access to view their live stream, displayable on any device. And on top of that, our live streams are powered by proprietary technology. What's the proprietary technology? Well, I've been using the term live stream quite a bit thus far, but what we created is different. We created a digital canvas that listens for artists' every stroke and in real time passes it to the viewer's screen. Now, why are we special? Well, we are the first art-based streaming platform. We are the first to monetize artists' creative process. And we are the first to have pixel-perfect live image replication. And we're doing all of this at 200 times less data compared to current streaming platforms. Now, why is that important? Well, it costs a fortune to host and transmit data, as you guys probably know. And if we can do it at 200 times less times the cost, well, it's going to save us a ton of money. And all of this is packed into a living art installation viewable on any smart device, your phone, TV, laptop, PC, or gallery display. You know, that's what I would recommend. Okay, quick question. Raise your hands, please, if you subscribe to a streaming service, any streaming service. Awesome. Now keep your hand up if you appreciate art. Okay, well, you are our target market. It's that simple. Our service obtainable market, we believe, is about $3 billion capturing from these markets, and we think it's called the live art market. Now, we are a subscription model. Artists set their subscription pricing at minimum to $10 a month. We take 30% of per subscription. So if Key has 10,000 live subs, that equals $100,000 in monthly revenue. We take 30% of that, that's $30,000 of monthly revenue for us. Let's talk about what we've done so far. So traction-wise, we have developed very strong artist relationships with high-end, full-time, traditional and digital artists. On top of that, we completed our MVP web app, and our first prototype test gained $3,200 from subscribers to only one artist. This year, with funding, we will be heavily on the development side, and we are going to be further refining our tech to launch our alpha platform. Our Series A is going to be more marketing focused, and this is where we're going to be reaching out to those high-tier artists and their communities and galleries and hopefully museums. We are ready for seed funding. I am full-time, only on SuprSketch, and our MVP is ready to refine and platform with funding. Here's our team. There's 5 of us right now, and it's comprised of full-time artists and expert developers. There's me. I'm Aaron Cox. Hi, everybody. I'm the CEO. I'm 33 years old and a U.S. Air Force veteran. And I was the co-architect for Microsoft's $1 billion North American network. And I can promise you, you've actually used some of the networks that I've created. Alex Cox, he's my brother. He's a COO, and he's led teams of 100 plus. And he's actually been a Pentagon operations team lead. He knows what he's doing. Then we have Molly McCutcheon. She's our artist liaison. She's a fine artist, and she has solo exhibits in Soho and Brooklyn. Now we have Bharat Ram, and he's an expert developer, and Zach Denham, another expert developer.
But the folks see the last slide. That's great. Aaron Cox, everyone. So now we have a 4-minute Q&A segment. Now, just to be clear, this is just for the judges. So judges who may have questions for Aaron, you have 4 minutes for Q&A, and Aaron will get back on the mic.
Hey, this is Liam. Great presentation. Thank you. One piece of feedback I'll give you before I even ask a question is that investors tend to think that if someone can't stay within the presentation time, one wonders how they're going to be able to run a business. So I love this idea. This is kind of, I was going to ask you about product market fit, but I wouldn't have guessed that video game streaming was going to turn into such a big business. And I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility that streaming art turns into a really big business too. I need you to expound a little bit more on the technology that you seem to be relying on that listens to your digital canvas. That kind of like stuck out as something that we didn't get any details on there.
Yes, I actually have a slide for that, if I could get control of the slides again. But essentially, I didn't want to get too technical and in the weeds, but we created 2 proprietary technologies. The first one we call Hermes, and this is the instant transmission of data. Think of like the god Hermes. And then we have a second technology, which we call Janus, which is the god of duality, of perfect mirroring. And what Janus is the deconstruction of an artist's drawing pad and then the complete and perfect reconstruction on the viewer's side. And those are our core technologies. It's transmission and perfect replication.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll get together later so I can understand that better.
I didn't want to get too technical.
Okay, Aaron, I got another question for you. First of all, love your enthusiasm. On this technology, is this proprietary technology to you? And if so, do you have it protected, or are you using other already existing technologies that other people could access?
When I'm talking about our transmission and our art deconstruction and recreation, that is proprietary. But we are existing on, outside of that, we are existing on pre-existing platforms.
So what is your plan for stabilizing funding or equity ask when you go out after you get through your second year?
Honestly, we haven't really thought that far. We're a very, very new company, very new startup. We're about 4 months old, and we haven't thought so long term or like in the weeds long term like that.
So if we have more time, I'll ask one more. So talk about this from the artist side. What's the artist's incentive? What brings them to the table to share their art?
That's actually a great question. We've actually interviewed quite a few artists. And from the artist side, the thing that they're most interested in, because at first artists are a little apprehensive, they don't want to show their process, right? It's very personal to them. But then when they realize that they're monetizing just somebody viewing them create art, and they're earning money during that time, that is what's so profound and important to them. A lot of these artists, they carry a second job for supplementary income, and in turn, their art has to be even delayed even more. So if they can actually get that time back and focus on creating, then they can actually make a livable wage.
Hey, unless someone's about to pull you off there with a hook, your customer interviews that you said, what did your customers say? Are they, $3,200 pilot's pretty cool?
The general feedback, and this is kind of a weird thing, we haven't gotten any bad feedback. Everybody really likes it, and they think that this idea, the feedback truly is that they love the idea of this, and they can't wait for us to bring on more artists and scale so that artists can run their own live streams. So the feedback's been really great, actually.
Everyone, SuprSketch and Aaron Cox.
Thank you.
Man, that's great. That was awesome. And thanks for being first out of the gate. Always, that's awesome. So thank you so much, Aaron. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Hey Bear. This is Serena Hackenmiller. And Hey Bear! And her timer doesn't start until she actually gets up here. So I'll just fill. I told you I could be awkward. I told you. Everyone, one more time, Serena Hackenmiller with Hey Bear. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm actually going to start a timer on my phone because I don't see one up here. Don't start it yet. Oh, thanks. Great. Hi, everyone. All right, good evening. My name is Serena. I am the CEO and founder of Hey Bear. Hey Bear provides easy bear spray rentals for Alaskan adventures. The goal of Hey Bear is to make everyone feel safe in Alaska's bear country by providing easy access to affordable, dependable bear spray rentals and education. Let's talk about bear spray. Bear spray is a deterrent used on aggressive bears for the protection of life and property. It's recommended by locals and experts for travel in Alaska's bear country in the summer season. It's used but not often deployed. It's there for peace of mind in case the worst case scenario occurs. But a single can of bear spray can cost anywhere from $30 to $60. It's usually not where you need it when you need it. It's not allowed on planes or cruise ships, so it's often left behind. This leads to waste. Bear spray is left behind in rental homes, car rentals, airports, trailheads, literally everywhere. These cans may never be used again for what they were meant for, so in Alaska, there's simply not an effective way to share and reuse cans. So, how does Hey Bear fix this problem? Hey Bear is not a brick and mortar. It's an automated smart locker. This system allows users to easily rent and return bear spray to the same or a different locker. Think Redbox for bear spray. You can reserve online or walk up to the kiosk day of, follow a few steps on the screen and a locker opens up, easy. Ready to return, scan the QR code on the can, a locker opens up again, place it back in. Any location accepts returns, and additional drop boxes are going to be placed strategically where people need them because we want people to return these, not to waste them. The lockers will exist in strategic areas, such as airports, national parks, and state parks, wherever users need them and where they're likely to be returned. Rentals are cheap. For example, a week is less than $30. Each can is inspected before reuse to ensure that it hasn't been damaged, isn't expired, or wasn't deployed. So you can feel confident that your bear spray will deploy if you really need it. Hey Bear provides education on how to act in bear country, like don't run and make noise. It's called Hey Bear for a reason. General bear behavior in our state, how to carry and handle bear spray, and if necessary, how and when to deploy. Hey Bear is ready for Alaska now because of our increasing visitor and outdoor recreation industries and our bear population throughout the state, where people recreate and work. Between May 2022 and April 2023, Alaska had 2.7 million visitors. And in 2016, 61% of those participated in at least one outdoor activity. If only 10% of visitors seek bear spray in Alaska, that's a potential of 270,000 sales. That equates to the $16 rental for up to 2 days, $4.3 million. Visitors adventuring in bear spray should have bear spray, but it's not always available or economically feasible. But it's also really important because a lot of my customer discovery has shown that locals would actually use this as well. I've heard a lot of stories of folks that got to a trailhead 5 hours from home, forgot their bear spray, had to go buy it for $60 just to add to their collection. Hey Bear is the best option for this service because we're the only niche, automated, and accessible bear spray rental service in the state. Hey Bear looks at all the problems with the other methods like hoping someone in the Facebook group gets back to you and is nearby, or purchasing new and leaving it behind somewhere, or renting from an outdoor store with one location. Finally, this one we all know, borrowing a can from your friend who's got 6 in the shed. I promise you, they're expired. Hey Bear solves all the issues associated with existing methods with an easy, affordable, rent and return automated smart locker in strategic locations that you can rely on. To market this business, I plan to develop a comprehensive marketing plan by utilizing social media, outdoor forums, partnerships with travel agencies and outdoor retailers, and offer promotional incentives like gift cards. It's important that I find the right places for these kiosks by conducting robust customer discovery. Places that already make sense are airports, national parks, and state parks. Here's my team. Mostly it's me. I'm the founder and CEO. I'm a lifelong Alaskan from the interior. I've been in outdoor recreation jobs and been outdoor recreating my whole life, plus customer service and marketing experience. Most importantly, for 8 years, I've been volunteering here in Juneau at the Visitor Center. So this idea was born from that, along with many others. I'm currently in the process of branding with an incredible local marketing consultant named Jenna Fleur. I actually worked with her at the Student Union when we both attended UAA, and it's really awesome to see her business thrive. I'm thankful to be mentored by Graham DeNoyer, who's in the audience today, who I met while participating in the Upstart Alpha Incubator this past fall through UAA. In the future, I'm excited to hire an operations manager to oversee the installation and maintenance of smart lockers. 30 seconds. Finally, I don't want to stop here. Through my customer discovery, I have heard of many other single-use items related to outdoor recreation that people need. So I want to expand with a program called Go There for stuff like bear-proof food canisters and camp stove fuel.
I'm sorry, your timer's off a little bit.
Oh, shoot. But this is the best part. You all have the right to bear spray.
Killing it. She did such an awesome job. Judges, do we have any questions? We have 4 minutes for questions. And then you see the little timer right there.
Oh, I do now, yeah. Thank you.
Hey, I like the idea. It seems super awesome. I've had people just at my business ask me for bear spray like multiple times, and it seems like it could be something that people could use. Have you talked to the airport or the Forest Service, and did they have good feedback about setting up stuff for that?
Yeah, I've had initial general interviews with a lot of organizations like national parks, and they'd be interested in contracting with me for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So I imagine this is going to be rather seasonal. Is that correct? In
Yes.
nature? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you anticipate that there will be costs incurred for kind of preserving your rental space as far as spots around town that you utilize one summer, and then kind of keeping those on retainer, that's going to cut into your profits at all?
That's a good question. I think with the contracts I'd be going into, it would be a year-long contract, but for storage, I'd be removing those smart lockers. They intend to be wall-mounted, and then putting them in storage for the winter.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to make the numbers add up here. This is an awesome idea. I've been looking for an investment opportunity that's in the rental of gear space, and I think that the market is definitely there. But I'm having trouble seeing how you're going to make money here. Like you've got to acquire the spot. That's super labor intensive. Not that easy to contract with the state government. You've got to install these things with barcode scanners. Then you said you're going to have a person who's going to physically inspect each $16 bear spray sale after it happens. I mean, have you thought about whether you ought to just put a bear spray vending machine at trailheads? I'm not trying to be the good idea fairy, but how open are you to a different business model that might give up on your circular economy vision a little bit, but would actually make money?
Can you repeat the part about the vending machine? I'm sorry.
Maybe I'll just simplify the question and say, can you expound a little bit on why this is a profitable business if you're renting these things in the way that you described for $16 for 2 days?
So this is about accessibility. People can't access it right now. When you bring it to them, they will, and they're going to rent it, even because it's a peace of mind thing. It's kind of already happening. We're seeing it already happen, but people are buying it for $30 to $50 at Costco, and they leave it behind. This is going to fill that gap. It's a huge gap, and provide the option to have it really accessible right when they need it. The smart locker is not a very expensive product. Of course, there is the other software and things like that, and making sure that it's installed right. It's really important to take care of the item because it is a hazmat item. So that is the most important part, is being careful of that. So a vending machine is too much of a risk.
Cool, thank you.
Did that answer your question? I hope so.
Oh, totally did, yeah.
Great.
So, do we have time for one more? Can you just talk a little bit about the research that you've done on liability? For example, if you rent and it doesn't work and there is a bear attack, what your liability might be?
As a new company who has not been quite established, I have done a lot of research, I've talked to a lawyer, but I can say that this business is occurring in Yellowstone. It's already happening. So it is a liability waiver thing, and it is possible. Thanks.
Thank you. That was an awesome pitch. If you love that pitch, friendly reminder, you can buy a vote and vote for her. She did a great job. So next up, we have Prismatext and Zak Erving. Come on up, Zak.
Hey everybody, can you hear me okay? My name is Zak Erving. I'm the founder and CEO of Prismatext, and I'm here to tell you how you can read a book and learn a language at the same time. So if you're anything like me, you've probably tried to start learning a language about 14 different times, and you end up stopping or giving up for any number of reasons. Chief among them, it's actually time consuming. A lot of these apps say that you can do this in 5 or 10 minutes a day, but you get that notification on your phone when you're in the middle of something and you have to disconnect from whatever you're doing. And you have to shift into that mindset. And so you're not really engaged. It's very chore-like, it's very repetitive. And then, if you actually try to do a couple of languages, you find out very quickly that you're learning the same things across all these languages. I know how to ask where the library is in like 6 different languages. It's never once come up in conversation anywhere in the world. So that's why we quit. So what we do at Prismatext is we take existing literature and we gradually and incrementally introduce foreign words and phrases as you're reading your book. We support 16 languages right now. We have about 400 books on our bookshelf, and that's growing weekly. And our mobile application is available on the iOS and Android app stores. And the reason we did that, as opposed to, say, your Kindle, is because we have some extra features. You can ramp up or down your density and your difficulty. We also have audio pronunciation. So really, if you're focusing on a single language, you can read the same book 27 different ways. So this method of injecting foreign words and phrases into native language books is known as diglot weave. It has its origins in academia, and there have been studies at universities around the world that demonstrate its efficacy to be 50% higher than just drilling flashcards when it comes to vocabulary retention. But the problem with that is that it's very difficult to scale. If you were going to do this by hand, it would take you about 1,000 man-hours per book per language, and that's just one variant. Just in the previous slide, I mentioned that we have 27 ways in each language to read a given book. And with our technology, we can do this entire process in 15 minutes, and that's for all the languages that we support. Last year, we were really excited to raise our monthly revenue by 5x, a 400% increase, or 5x. And then the slide's actually a little bit out of date. We're closer to 15,000 customers now, and we've done a little over 300K in total lifetime sales. And then actually in the coming weeks, we're launching a subscription offering, which is going to kind of be similar to the Audible model, if you guys are familiar with that, where you receive a credit every month, and then you can redeem that for any book on our bookshelf. Additionally, we had some big news in the months leading up to this conference. We had our first Big 5 publisher sign with us, which was Hachette, and we have 2 more Big 5s in the contract stage, which is Penguin Random House and HarperCollins. And so we have about 30 to 40 publishers and independent authors that we have agreements with on our platform to bring about modern choices in addition to the classic literature that we launched with. So everybody, language learning is a very exciting space to be in right now. Duolingo IPO'd for over $6 billion. We all know Babbel, Rosetta Stone, Pimsleur. These other players are great, and we love them. But we think that we're just different enough because we're the only ones who can leverage popular content. So all these other guys, they're going to be squabbling about different ways you can do flashcards. We're going to be the only ones in the space with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Fabio. Going forwards, readers will be able to slice and dice their books based not only on their ability, but also their interests and reading habits. So folks who prefer audiobooks might be excited to learn that we'll be exploring the use of synthetic voices to narrate your books to you, which, kind of opens up the possibility of maybe some fantasy fulfillment by being read to by Antonio Banderas, or Catherine Zeta-Jones or Morgan Freeman. But really, one of our expressed long-term goals is to build a suite of tools and applications for language preservation and education. We want educators and conservationists around the world to feel equipped to instruct in the languages that predate the one that I'm speaking now. Alaska, as a state, has 22 official languages and dozens more dialects. I cannot think of a better proving ground for exploring this thesis. Ultimately, our goal in using modern technologies is not to simply acknowledge who and what came before, but to revitalize. This is me and my co-founder. We have an interesting, distinct, and overlapping skill set. We both have education experience. I stay on the tech and product and design side of things. He's in the sales, growth, marketing, and operations. And yeah, we think we're a pretty solid team together. So thank you for your attention and time.
That was great time.
All right.
Great timing by Zach, and now time for questions from the panel.
Zach, how sticky is your product, and what makes you think you're going to get away with a subscription model?
We think get away with the script. I like the wording. Customers have been asking for it. We do customer surveys probably every 8 to 10 months, and the thing that comes up repeatedly is they ask for a subscription. They want to be reminded that this is that this is the new way to read for them. And really, it's part of our MO as well. We want them to be engaged in the app, because if you don't practice your vocabulary, you lose it. I think all of us who have studied a language have experienced that. So staying in your books, staying reading, we're not asking you to create a new habit. So when you fold in foreign language vocabulary, it's a habit-free practice.
So I love it as trying to work through Babel right now and getting interrupted every 5 minutes by something popping up. It's kind of crazy. But I love your discussion about the future forward of language preservation. And can you talk more maybe about what your plans are, if you've already started any discussions in that space?
Sure, yeah. Just to kind of keep it high level so we can go through other questions as well. But basically, we're looking at creating large language models. I know that's kind of a hot topic in tech news right now, but essentially learning to craft AI models using the interchange between two different sets of vocabularies and letting the machines, which it sounds kind of scary actually, but letting the machines infer generative intent given source material.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could do another one if the other judges don't. Okay, so your customer base, it's the intersection of people who are trying to learn a language. Duolingo's got like every other person's trying to learn a language. You are not only those people, but the subset of them who actually read. So how big is your market? Actually, it's not as big as Duolingo's.
You're right about that. Right now, there's an estimated 2 billion language learners on planet Earth. Over half of them are learning English, and I'll come back to that in just a second. But basically, we took a The percentage of the population, generally speaking, that enjoys reading, we took that and applied it to the 2 billion, and we came up to about 170 million people around the world who are online, like reading, and are learning a language. The reason I mention English as being the most learned language in the world is because we think that our real inflection point is when we start offering books that are Portuguese or Spanish or German or Japanese being blended back into English, and that's how we really get that two-way dialogue happening.
Zach, I think we've talked about this before, but one of the bottlenecks you've had in the past was the process of converting the books. But now that you're approaching real time for that process, do you think there's a market for or an opportunity to use the technology on short form content, the news, comic books, graphic novels, whatever you want? Maybe if only 2 billion people out there are language learners and a subset of them are readers in the traditional sense, everybody's a reader when it comes to the news or social media. Do you think there's a potential to use the technology there?
Oh, absolutely. And we have plans to fold these things into the app as it is right now. So as you mentioned, news and short stories, we're also thinking about, as we build these tools, we get more options, and so we could, create a solution for video game developers. We could play Skyrim and learn French as we go. And, there's a lot of opportunities as we build these tools.
I'm going to sneak one more in before Andy pulls you off. No.
We're not allowed to. It's a great discussion, and Zak Erving, thank you so much for presenting. Really appreciate it. With Prismatext. Once again, you can, there's JEDC people walking around. There's lots of $10 bills burning holes in your, but what are you going to do with that $10? Come on. Give it up, right over there, right in the back there. You see, waving, wanting to buy your vote. Coming up next, we have Muskeg Munchkins Baby Boutique, and Holly Adams is the presenter. Holly Adams from Muskeg Munchkins Baby Boutique.
Hi, you can hear me? Okay. So, hello, my name is Holly. While pregnant with my daughter Fern, I struggled finding many needed items and discovered the absence of a dedicated baby boutique here in Juneau. That is when I envisioned Muskeg Munchkins Baby Boutique. I then started on my journey in bringing this much needed business to our community. It is extremely challenging finding high-quality baby products in Juneau. What is available is extremely limited and scattered throughout town. Parents will often turn to online stores, but then have to endure lengthy shipping times. The need for a baby boutique has been reinforced many times over in my conversations with other parents while attending story time, music classes, or playgroups with my daughter who just turned 1. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I got this though, okay. So Muskeg Munchkins Baby Boutique will be conveniently located in the Mendenhall Mall and offer a comprehensive selection of baby, maternity, and breastfeeding products and apparel. As well, we will prioritize locally made, sustainable, and organic products. And sorry. According to the U.S. Census, Juneau has an annual birth rate of 300 babies and 1,600 children under 5 years old. This indicates a substantial customer base for Muskeg Munchkins. According to Statista and Fortune Business Insights, the baby apparel market is projected to grow nearly 6% by 2030, with an emphasis towards sustainable choices. Originally, I had intended on only selling baby products, but through my market research, I became aware of the overwhelming need for maternity and breastfeeding items as well, which also made me realize the importance of keeping my business adaptable. So Fred Meyer's is one option for parents, and they are convenient, but they do have a really limited products in the store available, and they have almost no organic or sustainable options. So parents turn to online stores, but then have to wait for weeks for the products to arrive, and babies grow and change so fast that often by the time the product arrives, it is irrelevant. There are a few boutiques downtown that offer high quality and organic baby products, but again, it is extremely limited with only maybe one rack of apparel items and some teethers and stuffed animals. We have some family consignment stores here as well, but it is really hit and miss what items they will have available. And so parents then turn to Facebook Marketplace, and it's also hit and miss on what's available and the quality of the product. So Muskeg Munchkins will really prioritize locally made products. Some products we will have is Little River Creations, seen here. They are repurposed leather soft sole baby shoes. There's Wild Haven Wools, Merino Wool Grow With Me baby and toddler apparel, Village Herbals, which is wild crafted and organic teas, tinctures, and salves for pregnancy and new mothers. There is Bambino Baby Food, which is organic baby food made with Alaskan produce, Usiati cloth diapers. As well, we will feature sustainable and organic products ensuring the well-being of the earth and our babies. So Muskeg Munchkins will be conveniently located in the Mendenhall Mall, which is in the Mendenhall Valley where most families live here in Juneau. In the mall, there's also a lot of other shops geared towards families, such as Rainforest Play Zone and Bloom Children's Art Studio. We will have a comprehensive range of products, providing one-stop shopping for parents. So I began my entrepreneurial journey with Spruce Roots when I completed the Path to Prosperity Business and Balance course, and then conducted market research and continually met with business coaches as I developed my business plan. After I completed my business plan, I submitted into a competition with Spruce Roots for a grant, as well as I've applied for a business loan. So currently I am securing funding to open this May. So in collaboration with other owners of Alaskan baby boutiques, they shared their annual revenues with me. Utilizing that information, I project a conservative estimate of a gross revenue of $250,000. So I am the full-time founder, and I'm a mother and have a range of experience to bring to the table. If selected, I will use this money for the storefront and the tickets to go to the ABC Kids Expo. So thank you guys so much for listening.
You did so good. Holly did so good. I got to meet her right before the pitch contest, and she was nervous, and she killed it. So good job, Holly.
Thank you.
All right, judges, you have 4 minutes for questions.
So great ideas. As a mom, it's awesome that you're thinking this way. You talk about limited availability in places, and you talk about local suppliers. So could you give us some more information about your local suppliers and how you will address the limited piece of inventory in your store?
Okay, so the products that are available in Juneau right now are very limited, so it's really difficult to find products that are available. So I plan to have a range of products in the store that are available to parents that you just can't find anywhere else in town. And with that, on top of that, I also do plan to bring in a lot of local products, as many as I can. And it's been really fun finding all these Alaskan-made products. There's a lot more than I realized starting out, and I'm just really excited to have that available for our community. I hope that answers the question.
So question for you, in your ROI, in your business model, how many staff do you have and who are you going to be hiring for the store?
So I am working as a full-time founder right now, and so initially it will just be me, and I do plan as we grow to hire more employees. So next year I project to hire someone else to help me with the business.
Do you have an idea of how many customers need to come into your store every day for you to break even?
I don't have that information on the top of my head. I do have financial projections, though. I can't think of that off the top of my head right now. Thank you, though.
I wanted to drill down a little bit about, you said you'd have a variety of products and that there's 300 babies born in Juneau per year, which is a nice even number kind of for doing figures. But I'd wondered if you'd looked at the income distribution of those families having kids. I know that locally made things tend to be a little bit more expensive. And if you were going to include them in your target market or really try to capture the whole range of all children being born in this town and meeting their needs.
So Juneau does have a higher than average income compared to the state and the nation. And though I do plan on having higher end products that may be more expensive, I would like it to also be accessible, so I really do plan on having a range of products. And on top of that, we really don't have very many resources in town for parents to get these products, so I really think that will bring a lot of different people into the store.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
A great presentation, and I think it's a great idea and something that Juneau needs. Do you have an idea right now about how you're going to bring people into your store and let them know that there's a boutique in town?
Yeah, so I do have a whole marketing plan and just really going through all the avenues, social media, radio, word of mouth. Another idea is having, health care workers in, the birth centers hand out coupons to new moms. And then really the Mendenhall Mall does bring in a lot of families, so I'm really excited about that location.
Thank you, Holly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we have Pete Nave with Wild Coast Excursions.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Peter Nave, and I'm here to introduce Wild Coast Excursions. We're a regenerative business working towards a better visitor industry in Alaska. We specialize in fly-in bear viewing and alpine hiking trips here in the Tongass. For those of you who've ridden in small planes or looked out to see soot rising from a cruise ship in the harbor, know that transportation in remote Alaska and Alaska's visitor industry are both very carbon intensive. Furthermore, Alaska's industrial-scale tourism is an extractive economy which removes profits from our region and gives little to our communities that don't directly participate. Rather than contribute to an existing and growing problem, we went in search of a solution. The result is Wild Coast Excursions, Alaska's first carbon-negative business and Juneau's first member of the 1% for the Planet program. We provide locally led trips that honor and respect Alaska's environment, communities, and cultures. Over the past year, we've spent months working with the Alaska Carbon Reduction Fund on assessing and reducing the carbon footprint of our trips. We determined our per-trip footprint, added 10% to cover our non-consumables like our equipment, and then multiplied that total by 125% and committed to purchasing equivalent reductions from the fund to be carbon negative. This means there is a net environmental benefit from our trips. The fund installs electric heat pumps into low-income homes and raises funds by selling the reduction in the carbon created. This creates a positive community and environmental benefit. We're the first in our region to integrate the carbon cost into all of our trips from the start as a price of doing business, and the first to be carbon negative. In an effort to further benefit our community and fight greenwashing, we joined the 1% for the Planet program. You may recognize this logo from the packaging on your last item from Patagonia or from the natural foods aisle. This program pairs businesses of any size with the environmental partners of their choice and certifies the contribution of 1% of the business's sales. In Alaska, Wild Coast Excursions is proud to support the Renewable Energy Alaska Project, the Sitka Conservation Society, and the Nature Conservancy Alaska. Each of these groups is working towards a regenerative future for our state. We're the first Juneau business of any type to be members of the 1% for the Planet program, but we hope that by our example, others will join this practical movement. The price of carbon reductions to the fund and our 1% for the Planet contribution are integrated into our core business model as per trip variable expenses and account for roughly 2% of our sales. Unlike businesses that strive for neutrality, the more business we do, the more the community and planet benefits. A little about our business. We're one of 3 bear viewing businesses in Juneau and one of over a dozen in the state. Most use small aircraft to reach bear viewing areas from Alaska's hub towns. Our business is based on selling seats on group trips or full aircraft for private trips. Our financial forecast is primarily based on selling group trips at our minimum size of 2 guests, but so far we've been fortunate to book a high percentage of private trips and groups near our maximum group sizes of 8 to 9 guests. Groups of 2 guests create a gross margin of 30%, while larger groups have a gross margin of 55%. This, of course, includes our carbon costs and 1% for the Planet contribution. Our target market is affluent adventurers looking for bucket list Alaskan experiences. They're often independent travelers visiting Juneau for more than a day, but there's also a mix of cruise travelers. Our total addressable market is the 2 million Juneau visitors a year. Our serviceable addressable market is around 4,500 bear viewing guests in Juneau from April to October, and our serviceable obtainable market is probably more like 450. We've had a busy year. In the spring of 2023, we formed Wild Coast Excursions, LLC, and seized on a rare opportunity to apply for permits to the Pack Creek bear viewing area on Admiralty Island. Over the fall, we participated in Spruce Root's Path to Prosperity program, were awarded bear viewing permits, and we launched our marketing and website. In January, we integrated a booking platform and opened for bookings, and as of mid-February, we reached our break-even sales figure for the year. That's about 20% of our sales goal for the first season. So who are we? There's myself, owner and lead guide. I've been a guide for almost 20 years in Alaska and internationally. I'm certified by the Association of Canadian Mountain Guides, and I'm also the founder of Mountain Adventures, which is a local winter backcountry ski and avalanche education program here in Juneau. And keeping me on task is my wife, Katie, who has an MBA in sustainable systems and has a history of management for guiding businesses and sustainable brands. Our indispensable partners are Ward Air, Coastal Helicopters, the Alaska Carbon Reduction Fund, and Copa Cafe, who will not only be providing our guest lunches, but will also be commercially washing our reusable food and drink containers and using all compostable packaging to radically reduce our waste compared to a typical tour operation. So we have 2 asks. One, if you're a business owner, please take a look at what it would take to make your business activities carbon neutral. Also, consider how much good you could do for our community and planet by joining the 1% for the Planet program. As a new enterprise, we bake these things into our cost of doing business, and we suspect that other already profitable businesses could also. 2, we're in the process of acquiring the equipment needed for our tours, purchasing a vehicle for in-town transportation, and continuing our marketing. We're asking for funds to help with our continued growth and development. The sooner we can cover these costs, the sooner we can hire other local guides to help deliver our amazing products. Thanks very much for your consideration.
That's Wild Coast Excursions and Peter Nave, and now time for 4 minutes for questions from our judges. Thanks, Peter.
Hey, great presentation. Price-wise, how does the cost of an excursion with you compare to one of your local competitors?
The local competitors? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're kind of right in the middle. Did you want a more specific answer? Okay.
So I have, you mentioned that your customer is affluent. I think that's spot on. I have no doubt that there's definitely a big customer segment of people who are visiting Alaska who want to believe what they're doing is carbon neutral. How much money per ton does the Carbon Reduction Fund sell your offsets for, and who is the carbon registry who certifies their credits?
So the Alaska Carbon Reduction Fund isn't a big traded in California fund like the big forestry projects that you hear about and that I'm a bit skeptical of. So they don't have a great background in certification, but they have, like, this is real. Like they put heat pumps in people's homes. It reduces the amount of carbon. Like people in our neighborhoods have these things. So certification-wise, it is a bit lacking. As far as the price per carbon, we looked at it more by the pound than by the ton. But here, if you want to look in detail, we've drummed it down to per guest. We came up with about 83 different scenarios, different numbers of guests, different occupancies, different types of planes, helicopters, that kind of thing. And we really tried to define and figure out the impact of every possible scenario that we would do, that would be profitable for our business, and leaned into the math pretty hard. So.
No, this is good. This is good analysis. I think that, if your customer cares about this and you're using the word greenwashing, then you need to be able to do stuff like this. One thing I would say about the Carbon Reduction Fund and the credits, it doesn't need to be part of a regulated market like the California cap and trade system. There's still carbon credit certification bodies like Verra, ACR, and Gold Standard that would be able to certify that. And I can't remember which one of those three it is, but at least one of those has a methodology that applies to heat pumps. So I think maybe that's something you could chat with them about. But cool, great work.
Also, to be clear, I take no responsibility for this awesome, totally independent of me organization, but I will mention that to Andy.
Again, great, and I think there's a huge market for this. Given that you're planning on starting in May, can you talk a little bit about what your staffing picture looks like? How many people do you need to do this, and do you already have those people secured?
Yeah, it's just me. Usually one guide works per trip, and we do one trip at a time. We have a booking software that automatically closes bookings for the day. It's a pretty quality over quantity type business model. We're taking a small plane out.
So assuming this year goes as planned and you hit the numbers that you want to hit, you're still not planning on going to 10 guides next year or something like that, right? You want to right size. Okay.
I mean, hopefully somebody else wants to come and do the trips too, but no 10 guides. Yeah.
That's
cool.
Peter Nave and Wild Coast Excursions. A little bit about the voting. There's buckets over here for all the different pitches you'll be hearing tonight. We've got one more to hear tonight. That's where you'll be casting your votes. And you still have a chance, of course. I'm going to hit it one more time to buy votes. We're going to encourage you to buy votes for $10 each. You can buy as many votes as you want. You could put a couple in each bucket. You could put, you can do it however you want. All right, coming up next, we've got our last pitch, which is from AirVitalize, and it's Serena Allen. Serena Allen presenting for AirVitalize.
Test on. Oh, they said there would. Is this one working? Cool. They said I could do this too. All right. Awesome. All right. Let's talk about air pollution. Air pollution is the #1 environmental threat to public health. It causes 1 in 9 premature deaths a year, plus extreme environmental degradation. The black soot settles on glaciers, expediting their melting speed. It increases the acidity of rain,
which dries out our forest, making them more susceptible to wildfires, who then produce even more air pollution. According to leading researchers, air pollution will take 2.3 years off each of our lifetimes. 99% of the population breathes unhealthy air. And that's why at AirVitalize, we're creating technologies that capture outdoor air pollution to improve public health and the environment. We're currently co-located between Fairbanks, Alaska, and Los Angeles, California, two of the most polluted cities in the country. Here you can see a small render of what our device might look like in Los Angeles. We have about a 5 cubic feet device that uses filterless patent-pending technology to capture outdoor air pollution and create healthy air within a range of about 2 football fields from the device's outlet. It's incredibly electricity efficient and requires very low maintenance. But we're not just a hardware company. We also are creating a proprietary software component that can actually show the impact of the air that's being collected. We found from our customer discovery that customers not only want to see this impact, but also want it translated into tangible metrics, like how many asthma attacks were avoided by having our technology implemented. There are only a few others in the outdoor air pollution collection space. Compared to us, we are the easiest to install. We only require standard outdoor outlet to plug into and about 5 cubic feet of space. We are cost-effective and incredibly electricity efficient, taking somewhere between 100 to 200 watts currently. An entirely filterless design, meaning we don't face the same supply chain issues that these other technologies have faced. And finally, we have this really key software component. We started in fall of 2021 just talking to Alaskans about what their biggest problems were before settling on air pollution and forming a solution in February 2022. Then, after more community engagement and customer discovery, we pivoted to a second solution. And then, after more community engagement and customer discovery, we pivoted to a third solution. And that was about a year ago. Since then, we've done 77 discovery interviews, now 79 since I submitted this to Huckleberry 2 days ago. And here you can see me and the youngest division winners of the Arctic Innovation Competition this past year. So unfortunately, I can't show you photos of our MVP, which we just finished manufacturing, because we're applying for a second patent and also an international patent. I would love to show it to you afterward via email in about 2 weeks once it's filed. But in October, we completed our 4th prototype, which underwent testing in partnership with Cornell University, validating the technology. And then we did some theoretical design updates and just finished manufacturing a unit down in Los Angeles. As I mentioned, we're filing for those additional patents with a pro bono lawyer, and we're planning to have 2 pilots deployed in May, one in Fairbanks and one in Los Angeles. So this is an older deck. We're working in Los Angeles in outdoor urban athletic centers where teams are practicing in conditions that are incredibly polluted. This is very important to them because if you practice in polluted outdoor areas, it's the difference between getting first at the Olympics and not even going. And so we're looking at doing that in Los Angeles, and then here in Alaska, we've been talking quite closely with the Fairbanks North Star Borough, amongst other entities, and have a letter of support from the borough. But we're also investigating the cruise ship industry as well as transportation nodes. If any of you are in that area, we'd love to talk. So my name is Serena Allen. I started working in this after realizing how policy needs solutions in order to meet healthy air and environmental goals. I'm joined by an environmental engineering associate, and we have a great board of advisors, including Dr. Peter Webley, who's an expert in risk mitigation technology, and also an inductee of the Alaska Innovators Hall of Fame in 2017. We are heavily supported by the University of Alaska Fairbanks, as well as the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. And if we were to take home any funds today, there are a few main things we would use it for. First, we pride ourselves on having local manufacturing initiatives. So any funding that was earned today wouldn't be going down to Los Angeles, it'd be staying right here to help us manufacture our first MVP. We're also working with the University of Alaska Fairbanks on winterizing our technology for Arctic conditions. And so it'll help bridge the gap in order to implement that into our product so it can last throughout the winter. And finally, we are, as I already mentioned actually, looking to speak with more people in the transportation and cruise industries. Thank you so much, and I hope you will support us on our mission to capture outdoor air pollution and improve public health and the environment. I'll now take any questions.
Okay, you have fabulous presentation skills. Really nice work. Thank you. And I loved your analysis of the market. I love that you guys can pivot. You got to help me out and understand just one more step towards how this technology works. You don't have to say anything that's inside your patent, but like, is there a certain number of air exchanges? Are you tackling PM 2.5 because you're in Fairbanks, or is it a different type of air pollution? Like, just high level, how does this thing work?
Yeah.
Why do we believe it works outdoors?
Sure, happy to. So yes, we are tackling PM 2.5, actually particulate matter from PM 10 down to below PM 1. We're using a basic ionization process. Simple words for that, you know, when you rub a balloon against your head and your hair sticks, particulates do the same thing. So you can't see them, but they'll jump away and stick. One of our patents that have already been filed, so I can share it, is using these fixed plate designs. So it's created for outdoor use specifically, and it doesn't have the same variability of the electric field. And we have already done testing, and we are 100% certain that it will work. It's now just playing around with it in order to develop this deep tech so it can work at an 85% collection efficiency and at least in that range of 2 football fields.
So, fascinating presentation, and but question about like your end game in terms of who you're selling to, right? You're talking to tourism, to cruise, transportation, but 5-10 years from now, who are you going to be selling this to? Is it big business? Is it city government? Is it the local homeowner? Where are you going with it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we're currently looking at transportation nodes and tourism out here, and then these urban athletic centers in LA. But the air pollution control market in itself is a huge industry, and it's actually growing incredibly quickly because, unfortunately, air pollution is only expected to get worse globally over the next decade and even beyond. And so we'd like to break into the air pollution control market itself. So even at only capturing 0.5% of the ambient, so outdoor air pollution market, we'd be able to get over $343 million. And this isn't in the core deck because this isn't even where we're starting. So in a most ideal world, I would like to see these as a staple across cities, at schools, so it can better the learning outcomes of children, at parks, at any outdoor recreation sites even, as well as at these transportation nodes I mentioned. So anything that breathes, anything that needs clean oxygen is something that can benefit from our technology.
Since Lauren took my question, I'm going to pivot a little bit, and I'm going to ask about your business model. So I noticed you've avoided saying selling, and I think given that there's a software component, is the idea that you would lease this hardware and install it at the schools, at the stadiums, and have that long-term relationship with the customer?
Yeah, great. So our business model is really twofold here. The first is a product installation fee. So this is similar to if you're buying hardware, you might purchase the hardware and then have a subscription afterward. We're using this installation fee to really just break even on our cost of goods and that manufacturing fee. And then we're doing a monthly lease that's going to cover maintenance, which we're performing in-house at this stage, and then having that access to the Impact software. Our profit is coming from this monthly lease. We're planning to make this on a sliding scale, so that way nonprofits, governments can access it at a more affordable price. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Lorax, but we want clean air to be for everyone, not just a select few. So that's also very important to us.
How much maintenance do you expect?
Currently, the maintenance process only takes about 30 seconds is what we're estimating, and we're planning to automate it in the future so we won't need in-field operators.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's AirVitalize. Serena, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's Serena Allen with AirVitalize. Well, there you go.
We saw all 6 pitches.
Let's hear it for all of the pitch contestants. You know, like I said at the beginning, it's just every single one of these is impressive in their own way, and I'm always just so inspired by the people. It doesn't mean that I go out and invent anything cool, but yeah, I'm still inspired internally. It's all internal. But we want to thank this great panel of judges here who are now hard at work deliberating. We're going to give them about 10 minutes or so to deliberate, and reminder to vote for your favorite pitch. And you can buy as many votes as you want. There's no limit on the amount. And right over here is where you do the pitch counts. We got, like I said, about 10 minutes here, running just maybe 5 minutes late or so just about 10 minutes. And if you have any questions for the contestants or you want to connect, we encourage you to find them during one of our networking sessions tomorrow.
So while the judges deliberate and voting commences, let's hear from Huckleberry Hopper with the Alaska Angel Conference and Kay Holland on the startup ecosystem. Welcome, Huckleberry and Kay.
Here's Huckleberry.
That's me. All right, we got a clicker here. Cool. Well, hey everyone. So my job's significantly easier than what we just saw, so we'll just bear with me for a moment. And I want to tell you about the Alaska Angel Conference. So everyone just got in front of you and pitched their entire business, but most of them don't get a whole lot of guidance around how to do that. So you go up here, you're feeling totally vulnerable, and you have to basically put everything that you've built on the line. Now, this gets even harder when you're raising funds for your company. And because of that, we have, as an ecosystem, built a conference that teaches new angel investors and entrepreneurs that are raising funds how to actually go through the process of raising funds. This year, we are going to have likely over $100,000 to invest, and we take people through a 10-week process of what it means to raise funds in Alaska. If you're an entrepreneur, that means pitching. That means going through due diligence, and if you're an investor, it means playing the other side of that. Now, the way this works is pretty simple. You come in, you do what we just saw, 2 rounds of pitches, and we start with 10, 15 companies that we eventually narrow down to 4 companies. Now, like I mentioned, pitching's hard, raising money's hard, and learning how to raise money is even harder because you're also building a business on this side. So what happens is 4 companies go to due diligence, and then the remaining companies who aren't quite ready for that get 6 weeks of education for how to actually raise funds. So you're gonna learn all the things that you didn't quite get. You're going to learn how to do valuation models. You're going to learn what a pre-money safe is, a post-money safe, and what the right way for you to raise money is. Now, when that happens, the due diligence happens through the other side. The angel investors, they come in and they analyze these other 4 companies. And so new angels working alongside experienced angels will actually be able to go through these companies and vote democratically who they're going to invest the $100,000 in. Now after that, we do another pitch contest, and then one company goes home with a $100,000, sometimes more, check invested into their business. Now, if you're an investor, what this means is that you get to enter this ecosystem that we're talking about. We're using all sorts of terms, but it's difficult to get into the game. It's a lot to ask to invest $50,000, $100,000 in a business. But through the Alaska Angel Conference, you'll actually get to make your first angel investment for only $5,000. Now, getting taught how to angel invest is a difficult thing to do on your own. So for a very small amount, we can actually help you get started. Now, if you're an entrepreneur or founder, you're going to learn the exact same things. You'll learn how to pitch, or continue to learn how to pitch. You will go through due diligence, or you will get 6 weeks of fundraising education. Now, we have a pretty good cohort this year. It's going to be pretty competitive. And we are currently going to be closing the competition. Today is actually going to be the last day that you can enter. So if you have any interest in angel investing and investing in some of these founders who are taking on huge problems like solving the air pollution problem or learning languages, which I've failed at plenty of times, you are invited to join us. If you're a founder who is in the beginning stages of our business and you want to learn how to raise money, or if you're ready to raise money, you're also welcome to join us, and we'll be happy to have you. Now, our first meeting is actually going to be next week, so sign up today, and our final event will be on May 12th in Anchorage. Thank you. That's everything. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the Angel Conference? That's because I'm crystal clear. You're voting for me. I didn't build anything. Cool. All right, well, so that's the end of my spiel. Next up, we have Kai Holland. So we all know this guy.
Hey folks, good evening. I hope you're all getting your votes in. Buy as many votes as you can. We had some really great presentations. A lot of folks who are interested in startups don't know where to even learn about how to access the startup ecosystem and the resources that we have in Alaska. And we have actually a very robust system of programs and opportunities for startups. And one of the things we need your help with is letting the rest of the community know where they can learn how to take their idea and turn it into a successful startup. And so I want to share a little bit of information about what's available. Great. So first thing I want to share, and for any of you who are already familiar with Alaska Startup Week, we have a huge announcement to make today. We met this morning to begin our planning for the 2024 Startup Week, and we've done a change this year to return back to the original branding of Alaska Entrepreneurship Week, which is how this started. Alaska Startup Week and Entrepreneurship Week started actually in 2012. John Bintner, who was then at the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation, got this started, and we've kept it going. So we're going to be in our 12th year of doing a week-long event around startups. It'll now be returning to that old original branding of Alaska Entrepreneurship Week, and this morning we made the decision that it'll be again in early November. It'll be the week of, excuse me, I misspoke. It'll be in early October, the week of October 7 to 11 this year, the first full week. We did that last year for the first time, and it worked really well because it allowed us to bring a lot of people into the startup ecosystem early in the cycle of activities, and we'll be doing that again. We've got a brand new website URL where you can sign up for more information. The Startup Week is a week-long period of events hosted by startups and resource providers in the ecosystem. And these are usually all free events. It's basically a big networking event, and these are held around the world. We've been doing this again since 2012. The last 10 years, we've generally had somewhere between 60 and sometimes almost 90 events going on in Alaska, and between 8 and 12 communities. So it's really been a tremendous ecosystem building opportunity. So I encourage you to get signed up. I'm also really pleased to announce that in our meeting this morning, we got our first $5,000 investor supporting this event, which is unheard of for us to be starting off with that kind of support. If you'd like to support Alaska Startup Week, or excuse me, I'm going to have to work on learning the new lingo, Alaska Entrepreneurship Week, come see me or sign up. We'd love to have support. We're looking this year for about $15,000. $5,000 is fantastic, but what I really want to do is see us elevate the awareness of the startup community. That means buying some more ads, some more time, and getting beyond talking to the folks that know about us and talking to the folks that need to know how to access what we're doing. So, second thing I want to touch on is just a high-level view of what the Alaska ecosystem is all about. Some of you, I expect everybody in this room knows a little bit about this, but we have an amazing network of programs and program providers that run throughout the year. Huckleberry just told you about the Alaska Angel Conference and that program that provides such a great opportunity both for investors and startups to look for angel investment. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. The Arctic Innovation Competition has been one of our bedrock programs for idea competitions. The deadline for applications for that comes up on March 1st, and I guess that's the end of this week now. And we also have other programs, including the meetings that go on each month during the fall through springtime by the Alaska Investor Network. Their next meeting is on March 6th, but I would invite you, if you want to access the Angel Network and community, that they are meeting monthly. This is their next meeting that will focus in on the Angel Conference. They'll also be having information about their Pitch Pipeline event, which is coming up later in March for another opportunity for particularly energy-related companies to pitch. We also have the G-Beta Accelerator program that's currently taking applications for the next week or two. I'm going to get my dates mixed up, so I won't say which ones they are, but you've got a week or two to sign up for G-Beta at this point. This has been a hallmark program for us that has brought companies to the point of being really investable in our angel community. Center ICE continues to be another part of our foundation, providing I-Corps support, their Rise Up program, and many other support programs for entrepreneurs at this point. If you're a company that's a little further along, looking for help with getting pilot projects in the state, Launch Alaska's Tech Deployment Track is currently open, taking applications until early May. One of our key programs each week is the 1 Million Cups program. It's a Kauffman Foundation sponsored activity that meets every Wednesday at 10 a.m. This is a nationwide program. There's hundreds of locations every Wednesday, having coffee, giving entrepreneurs an opportunity to share what they're working on and to build support amongst other entrepreneurs in the community. It's what we refer to as basically our front door to the startup ecosystem. And of course, HealthTie and their open innovation system, if you're involved in healthcare technology, has been another bedrock in that area. And then finally, the Center ICE Upstart Alpha program will be starting this fall, another key program for customer discovery. So I'm just kind of touching the iceberg. What I hope you get out of this message is two things. One is Alaska Entrepreneurship Week is the first full week of October 7th. And second is, I want you to be aware of how much is going on. It's too much to keep track of. One of the things that we have is this resource called Where Do I Start? And I hope you'll pick up a copy from the table on the AKV3 table, or just go to akv3.com where we have a startup calendar where you can find a list of all the current events. But share this with others who are interested in startups. This is something that we need to do a better job of helping others learn what's available and how to access what is a really amazing set of services and products. But more importantly, at the end of the day, we want to be about supporting entrepreneurs and helping them take their next step. So I appreciate your time and attention to this, and I think I'm about to get the hook. We don't want to see what happened before happen again, so I'm off. See ya.
Hey everyone, that's Kai Holland, and thank you, Kai. Thanks for everything you've done for entrepreneurism in Alaska and in Juneau. We really appreciate it, and incredible resources there. Well, has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? If you haven't, vote now, because we're just about to tally the votes. They're getting tallied. It's happening, and we're going to be awarding all these great prizes here in just a moment and find out who this year's winner is of the Alaska Airlines Pitch Contest.
Okay, so look, I want to first say thank you to all of the contestants. These guys did a fabulous job. Can we get a round of applause, please? I love listening to pitches. This is one of my absolute favorite things to do. And this was my first time listening to pitches in Juneau, first time at this event, and everyone did an absolutely fantastic job. So thank you. This was a really hard decision. That's why we were gone for so long. And they say that groups make way better decisions than individuals. And so the group of judges actually concurred exactly with the Audience Choice Award as well. And that's why we were confused over there for a second, because we had to figure out what we're going to do about this. So we're going to recognize the first place winner, and this is the winner of both the judged competition and the Audience Choice. And then we're also going to recognize the second place winner that happens to be the second place winner of both the judges and the Audience Choice as well. So just sorry to had to make that hopefully not more confusing. And for the first place winner, and the reasons we chose this, there was some drawbacks and we had like a lot of questions, but we think that when you have a compelling founder and a compelling presentation, then that trumps a lot of other things, and we were super stoked about AirVitalize. So AirVitalize is the winner. I don't have anything to hand you. Congratulations. And then a close second, we had Zak with Prismatext. That's all I had to say, right? Okay.
All right, so we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you again to all of these amazing
You're all dismissed now, but thank you.
pitch contests and judges and everyone who participated. Thank you, Alaska Airlines, for your ticket donation. And if you guys want to connect with these wonderful participants, remember that we have all day tomorrow to do this all over again. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Brian, and I'm out of here.
And I'm just going to end it all right here together. Let's give a big round of applause for our two MCs. Andy. Thank you very much, Maggie, as well. Chamber of Commerce and Alaska Airlines Pitch Contest.